What is up, my beautiful people? We are here, the Seco fam is here to bring you guys another awesome video. We are actually going full story time with this vid. So we're gonna tell you guys a little story that we know about that revolves around the idea of the human will and just how powerful the human will is. In terms of survival, in terms of life or death, the human will can do things that you would have never have imagined in your entire life.
Hey, human will has put us in the moon, okay? Human will has made billionaires out of people that came into this country years and years ago that with nothing in their pockets, okay? So human will is the most powerful ever.
It is. And this story, I think, will remind you all just how powerful the human will is. Sometimes we feel weak, sometimes we feel like we want to give up in a lot of different things that's happening in our lives. Sometimes our lives can be a little complicated and it can really demotivate us and uninspire us to be what we want to be. But always remember that the most powerful thing you have is your own will. Is the will to live, the will to strive, the will to succeed, the will to just be happy and to be you. So I'll give Papa Seco the floor so that he can tell you guys this really awesome story because, I mean, you guys got to hear it, honestly.
Yes, it is a great story. And it's about this guy in his mid-20s, right around the late 30s, where it develops in the Civil War in Spain. His name is Bart. Bart, he was fighting against the dictatorship of Franco, who was a Nazi dictator. He was in the Republican Army, and he was a captain. And Bart was a family man. He was a family person. He had 2 young kids. And Bart got incarcerated. And the story of Will starts with Bart pretty much going to bed every day, not knowing if he was going to be in the list of executed war prisoners.
Now let's be clear. He was on the rebel side. And the rebel side lost the Spanish Civil War.
Right.
So a lot of these
They were fighting against
generals
Franco.
and captains, they were fighting against Franco, which was a dictator.
Right.
And a lot of these generals and captains and soldiers were put into prisons and basically put on death row.
So Bart went to bed every day, not knowing if he was going to be in the list of execution next morning. For 3 years, basically. He had such a strong family that his wife, Amada, who loved him, had 2 young children.
Junior and Natty, right?
Yeah, Junior and Natty. Junior, a boy, and Natty, a girl. They were born while Bart was in jail, was incarcerated. Amada, the super strong, family-oriented woman that she was, developed this incredible plan where she got a job in the jailhouse as a cook in the jail where he was. And for a period of 6 months, she developed these relationships with administrative people and everybody that she needed to get in touch with to develop this plan to basically have him escape. And they forged some signatures and some papers with the anxiety of not knowing if he was going to be executed. The very next morning, Bart actually got a supporting cast with Amada to work with them on a transfer. They were going to transfer him from one jailhouse to another one. That's when they planned the escape. And they had a couple of accomplices and they pulled it through. They pulled it off and they were able to get him out. So they escaped. He was free with his family for 6 months within Spain. Bart, he was in northern Spain and he changed his name, his whole identity.
Hiding away from the government.
Hiding away so that they wouldn't catch him, right? Still, they got word that they knew where they were, so they had to flee, they had to leave, they had to emigrate Spain, and they had to go through the Pyrenees. They were on their tails, they were on their behinds, and they were pretty much being prosecuted. They set up to cross the border from Spain to France. The Pyrenees are right in the border between these 2 countries. It's a very treacherous route. They have to hire guides. World War II was already going on. It was as dangerous as anything, as any adventure that anybody could imagine, crossing the border of these 2 countries. They have to meet a guide, what we would call a coyote around these areas. Guess what? They are late. Bart cannot make it in time, and this guide they had contracted to cross the border leaves with another family. So Bart is stranded for almost a whole week in a small town
With his family?
with his family, with no food, no job, running from the government in terrible circumstances. Now, finally, They crossed the border 1 week later with a new guide.
A new guide?
A new guide.
Why was it a new guide?
Well, it had to be a new guide because the other guide was killed, actually, along with the whole family that he was bringing across the border as well.
So it was the family that
Bart's
took the
family.
place of Bart?
Yeah, Bart and his family. So that family was executed along with the guide that they were hiring. So it turned out it was a blessing in disguise. They went to France and they stayed in France for 9 months before they actually kept going and ended up in Venezuela.
Now guys, I can't explain to you how much I love this story. The fact that it's a true story too, this is a real story, is just incredible to me. And I don't even know how many times I've heard this story. I mean, it must have been 10, 15, 20 times. You know
But
what I
why?
mean?
Why have you heard it so many times?
Well, because the truth is that Bart is actually his middle name. And his real name is Agustin Bartolomeo Seco, as in Agustin the First, Agustin his grandfather, and Agustin my great-grandfather.
Right.
And then Junior is actually Agustin Seco Jr.
My dad. The second one. I'm the third, he's the fourth.
And I'm the fourth. So this is a real true story that hits home with us because if Agustin and Amada
Don't have the willpower.
exactly, if they don't have the will to survive, the willpower to survive, the willpower to live, to continue to live and reach a free life through adversity and through everything that was thrown at them, through the worst circumstances you can imagine,
Yes.
we're not here.
So thank you, Grandpa and Grandma, for making that incredible effort. This is going to be like chapter 1 of a series of stories, because if you thought my grandfather's story was interesting, wait till you hear my father's story.
Such a good story.
And then wait till you hear my story, because it's very much linked into his story as well. It's a story of immigration, it's a story of will.
Look, guys, we told you this story because everybody at one point has to hear that their will is stronger than they know. And when there is a will, there is a way. There's always a way. There's a million different things that had to happen. There's a million different happenings that had to take place for you to be in this world. If anything, you are a miracle, because if everything doesn't happen the way that it happened leading up to you, you're not here living in this world with us. Always remember that you can change your own reality. You can change your own path. You choose what you want and how much you can endure. Don't ever give up when things get tough. This story right here, it's what I replay in my head whenever I'm feeling like I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or I'm not worth this, or I'm not worth that. Hopefully you can remind yourself with this story just how important every single one of you are on this planet.
Yes.
And always have the will to fight for what it is that you believe in and what you love. But yeah, that's our story time for today, right?
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
There you go. And also hit the bell on our subscription so that way you get our push notifications. And yeah, we love you guys, and we hope to see you real soon on another video. And who knows, maybe even a
Yeah.
Love y'all.